this story could have gone just by the wayside, like many others that are very similar to it. Let's go ahead and get started, you guys. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. It was a tragedy happening down at Delta State University down in Mississippi.
The name Trey Reed needs to ring all over the United States right now. 1, that is my cousin. 2, this is the second incident that has occurred within the last 5 years at this campus. Delta State University has had a run-in with me and their policemen. They tried to lock me up for no reason, and it didn't succeed in their favor. Just today, it was reported that my cousin was found hanging from a tree, and they trying to rule it as a suicide. Now, I just got off the phone with one of my cousins. She said she seen the reports, and it said that he was beaten and bruised. Both his arms were broken, and he had a broken leg. I'm gonna let y'all do the math.
There you saw the cousin of Trey Reed, who was found apparently what seems to be violently hung from a tree down in Mississippi on the campus of Delta State University where he went to school. There his cousin was talking about how he spoke to his other cousin who also had seen or heard about violent bruising and potentially broken bones on him. I'm gonna let his cousin continue to speak about what it is that he knows.
Now, this school has history for being racist. Even going all the way back to the 1980 situation that happened with the sit-in. I'm trying to be composed in this video, and I'm trying to keep it all together. But it's a lot of shit that happens on that campus that don't nobody do shit about. It was incidents before my big incident happened and that I reported that nobody did nothing about. Somebody tried to report me for a hate crime, and they was the one being homophobic, transphobic, and being racist. And they was trying to lock me up until I had multiple people come out and speak against him. There was an incident that I reported that it was a group of white students in a white truck while I was a freshman. They yelled at me and my friends and called us a bunch of monkeys. Please do a deep dive on this. Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Enough is enough.
He's talking the way someone who's experienced previous instances of conflicts, confrontations, and racism on that campus or in the nearby areas being swept under the rug. It's almost like he's not just making it up out of nowhere. But this is the thing, our approach to these types of stories always just goes by the wayside. Whatever, something else just happened. Actually, not even that much. Like I said, when I first saw this from a couple of folks that were just telling me about it, there was no full news coverage on it. There wasn't even local news coverage on it that I could see. I feel like it's something that is a good indicator of what we choose to pay attention to, who we think is important versus who we don't think is important. So finally, NBC News did have something that they did talk about.
Authorities say the body of 21-year-old Demartravion Trey Reed was found hanged from a tree by a faculty member near the pickleball courts. Word spread quickly throughout the Cleveland campus, leaving students and others concerned and worried.
Well, because I am a black student, hearing that happened to another black student, it really made me feel, it's make me feel unsafe.
I do have to walk to class, and I like to go walk on the track, and it would be happy to know like what happened.
Local and state investigators immediately started looking into the incident. DSU Police Chief Michael Peeler says investigators found no evidence of foul play.
But pending an investigation, further investigation, and also from the medical examiner's office, we won't have more information until that part has been done.
People are looking for urgency and a sense of importance being placed on the life of someone that potentially was murdered. And then, of course, in the manner in which they found his body, being very particular to the way we've seen our country's history regularly do these things. These are the types of things that I think need to be highlighted to point out, since they want to keep telling about it, how far we've come, that there's still a lot of these issues happening in our country, even if it doesn't result in these types of conclusions, as again, Trey's cousin was talking about he's had his issues with folks around there, but because he's not dead, we shouldn't care about it. But look at the way that they handled this investigation. Let me tell you guys the details of how this went down and reasons why maybe people don't trust many stories that get told to them. Vanessa Jones of the Jones Law Firm, who's representing that Reed family, told the media that the family's still waiting for some answers. Doesn't make much sense, does it? The family does not know exactly what happened on September 15th, she said. We're seeking answers from Delta State University. We're seeking answers from the coroner's office. So imagine, you find your family member there in that state, and this is the response you get from authorities. The investigation is conducted by the Cleveland Police Department. Sure, as of this time, he said, there's no evidence of foul play. While there's no evidence of foul play, the body has been retrieved by the Bolivar County Coroner's Office. And according to the Mississippi Free Press, Bolivar County Deputy Coroner Murray Rourke, who assisted that medical examination of his body, said that there was no evidence of broken arms or legs, despite what it is that his family member had said to his other family member. Last quote here. I don't think I should probably discuss this any further than that. My opinion is that it was self-done, and I have reasons for that, is what he said, despite the death still being in this active investigation. So he wants to come forward and make sure people don't jump to conclusions because of what he's seen already, but he said it's his opinion. I'm not sure if that's the medical opinion. I'm not sure if that's conclusions of the autopsy. We'll see. But here's probably one of the worst aspects of this with his family. Vanessa Jones of that law firm criticized Delta State University and Bolivar County officials, who we just talked about, telling the Mississippi Free Press that both had left the Reed family completely in the dark after the discovery of Trey Reed's body, failing to properly communicate with them in their darkest moment. The lawyer said that the media knew about Trey's death before the family did. Why is that? It gives energy to this thought that they don't care, that it's going to go out to the media first while they maybe, I don't know, don't fully investigate, don't fully take care of the crime scene, the potential crime scene, so they can really give answers to this man's family. You have to be concerned about people's lives. You have to care about the folks that are around them. You have to say things like, not that Reed had this, but we've been saying this recently. He's leaving behind a wife and 2 young children. He had a mother. He had a father. He had sisters. He had cousins. They're going to be in mourning for a very long time over this kind of death. And we just want to bring them justice and a resolution to their grief and their pain. Doesn't that sound familiar to the things that we've been saying recently? But we don't always say that. In fact, sometimes authorities go to the media before they even go to that family that apparently don't care about or thinks that they don't need to know much. And a confusing incident occurred the morning of Trey's death. The Grenada County Sheriff's Department arrived at Trey's family's home and informed the family that Trey was found dead in his dorm room in his bed. So it's obvious that now that they're reporting he was hung from a tree in the middle of campus somewhere. But the Sheriff's Department, at first, when they first decided to talk to his family, said that he was in his bedroom in his dorm, and that's where he passed away. So if you've seen, this has been the theme, I feel like we should keep going with this thought process. Just remember this. If you've seen someone blatantly lie to you about this particular situation, why would you believe anything else they've said to you? They're going to have to redeem themselves. If the authorities lied to you blatantly about how your kid, your brother, your cousin was found, wouldn't you go, I don't trust you anymore? Why did you lie to me? Why isn't that the automatic thought process for everybody that sees something like this? So now there's dispute over the potential bruises and lacerations to his body, and also including the broken bones. The coroner's office and them are vehemently claiming that there were none of those. Maybe there weren't. But again, why should I believe you? You've already lied from the beginning. In a place where there has been violence, there has been racial tensions, and then this kind of thing happening. Again, this happened at Mississippi, Delta State University down in Mississippi. But did you guys hear about from some of these HBCUs and some of the responses they've had, as there was a nationwide response to that killing last week? that forced this.
At least 6 historically black colleges have halted activities after receiving potential threats against their campuses. The lockdown measures come in the wake of yesterday's shooting of Charlie Kirk.
We're tracking now at least 7 of these HBCUs that have been under lockdown in the past 24 hours following that assassination of Charlie Kirk. That includes Alabama State, Hampton, Virginia State, Southern, Bethune-Cookman, Clark Atlanta, and also Spelman. The FBI has released a statement. I don't know if we have a full screen of it, but it does say that the FBI takes these threats very seriously because it puts innocent people at risk. While we have no information to indicate a credible threat, we will continue to work with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners to gather, share, and act upon threat information.
So HBCUs on lockdown, multiple HBCUs on lockdown because of threats that came from folks who decided to go in the middle of Huntington Beach or then go to vigils and get to chanting about how they're going to fight back against some enemy that they didn't know who it was. And once they discovered who it was, the race war was off. If you think about the sudden knee-jerk reaction to want to go to threatening college campuses, particular college campuses, you might realize that the attention is always on certain folks when they want violence in this country. But when the violence is carried out on them, the attention goes away real quick. They don't care anymore. And since they're losing these arguments that they like to say they want to have, these debates and these political conversations, this is how this administration has approached the facts behind what it is we keep seeing. 404 Media has reported that in the aftermath of Kirk's murder, Trump's Justice Department deleted a study from its website stating that right-wing violence continues to outpace all other types of terrorism and domestic violent extremism in the U.S. This comes as the Trump administration and Republicans I'm going to correct this article, completely and utterly blame political violence solely on the left. The study was available online at least until Friday. That's according to 404 Media, who reported this, but can now only be found from a Wayback Machine link. They somehow think in 2025, no one can find these things that they're deleting, which even highlights the fact that they have this objective to delete it. This study that was published in 2024 and conducted by the National Institute of Justice is titled "What NIJ Research Tells Us About Domestic Terrorism." The first words in this study are militant, nationalistic, violent extremism has increased in the U.S. In fact, the number of far-right attacks continues to outpace all other types of terrorism and domestic violence extremism. Since 1990, far-right extremists have committed far more ideologically motivated homicides than far-left or radical Islamist extremists, including 227 events that took more than 520 lives. And in the same period, far-left extremists committed 42 ideologically motivated attacks that took 78 lives. But if you have this conversation with someone who's believing in fascism and wants everything that Donald Trump and these guys are carrying out to be solidified and normalized further in our society, you'll just be spinning your wheels because they're going to stick their fingers in their ears and close their eyes and go la 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 la. But it's the left wingers. If they cared about shoring up the political violence, they would address where the political violence is coming from. It's exactly what the people who are triggering these things want. That's why they're begging for it. That's why Donald Trump hasn't shut the hell up about how much he hates other people that oppose him as his people continue their onslaught on the country. We know the energy behind the movement. So, no more arguing over it. It's time to oppose it. Discussing it isn't going to convince anyone. They already know.